I've often heard that I can be defensive and hard to connect with. And while it's tough to hear, I'm starting to think there might be some truth to it. How can I better understand and address this feedback?
Get a 360 and work with a coach or a mentor. So being defensive is like a really normal thing. And it's not a terrible thing. And it also is something that you should get out of your own way if possible, because it's just like a thing that you have to manage and other people want to manage. And nobody wants to be defensive. Defensiveness usually comes from kind of like a sympathetic nervous system response, so a fight or flight. And it's like suddenly we're acting that way. Suddenly words are popping out of our mouth, or suddenly our physical presence is changing, or verbal presence. So it's only like 30 minutes later or an hour later that we're like, oh, I was just acting defensive. So get a 360 or some kind of assessment that can give you like real deal feedback. And once you've got that, you should work with a mentor or a coach. And you want to be thinking about like what they would call in a therapeutic sense, exposure therapy. And exposure therapy essentially is if like there's something you're afraid of or you have like a strong automatic reaction to, you deal with it and interact with it enough so that over time you build an ability to have that little moment of thought before you react, and to kind of get ahead of it yourself, to get your breath and all those things. So what I mean by exposure therapy specifically to this would be working with a coach or a mentor who could walk you through types of feedback that you'd be getting in types of situations. And for some people that might be like, like acting stuff out, but I don't actually think that's necessary. It's more about having difficult conversations and really getting into them repeatedly, really getting into those tough corners. If having a coach or a mentor is unavailable, so most people should be able to get a mentor because there's not usually a cost. There's not a cost associated with mentors. But if you're unable to do that, you could try and partner with someone at work, or you could just try and partner with someone in your life. But it is about getting some kind of feedback loop, like an assessment, and then working through it. And by working through it, you do get that exposure therapy. But it isn't something like a one-time conversation. You'd have to work through it, have that conversation a number of times over and over and over again, and you get there. And it's just like anything you're trying to get through, repetition, focusing, improvement. That's how you get through it.